Why is antinatalism important in our society? Why is it important for people to question the implications of bringing new conscious beings into this world? A lot of people believe that life is a gift. And because of that, they believe that having children is a good thing. They believe that they are doing their children a favor by bringing them into this world. They don't ever ask themselves if this world is good. They don't ask themselves if they are in a good financial position to be bringing new people that they will have to take care of. They don't ask themselves these kind of questions. They believe that life is a gift. So even if they are not doing well, even if they are not living in a good environment, doesn't matter because life is a gift. Their children should appreciate the fact that they brought them into this world. They gave them the gift of life, and they sacrificed everything for them. Their mother carried them for 9 months. 9 months. And they did whatever they can to make sure that they eat, to make sure that they sleep in a house, to make sure that they have clothes. So they should appreciate life. There are lots of parents who are not even talking to their children anymore because their children did something wrong. 50 Cent, for an example, doesn't talk to his son anymore because his son did not listen to him when he was young. His son listened to his mom a lot, so he doesn't talk to him anymore. This wouldn't happen if 50 Cent understood that his son didn't ask to be born. His son is here because he brought him here. So he must take care of him. He must be there for him when he needs him. That is very, very important. But if you think that life is a gift, if you think that you did the right thing by bringing your child into this world, you're not gonna care if you no longer have a relationship with your child. You're not gonna care if your child needs you, because maybe you did whatever you can to make sure that things go well for them and they still screwed up. Parents must understand that their children didn't ask to be born. They must understand that they brought them into this world because they wanted to bring them into this world. It's not because they are good people who wanted to do something good for this world and they decided to bring children into this world. No, they brought children into this world because they wanted to bring children into this world. There are a lot of people who cannot have children, who will do whatever they can to have children. That's because that's what they really want. If what they really wanted was to do something good for the world, they will just adopt, because there are lots of children that don't have parents. There are a lot of children that are living in poverty that they can take care of. So it's important for people in our society to think about these kind of things. It's important for people to ask themselves if bringing a child to this world is really a good thing. If a famous scientist created a simulation and he was able to create conscious beings from our DNA, he was able to take our DNA and create conscious beings and then transfer their consciousness into that simulation. And they had to live the way that we're living. Don't you think we'd question his actions? Don't you think we'll ask ourselves, okay, why do they gotta live the way that we're living? Why don't you create a better world for them? I'm pretty sure we'll question the morality of everything. The reason why we're not asking ourselves if life is good is because we don't know who created it. We don't know what is going on. So we have to work with what we have. We have to lie to ourselves. If we realize that most of the times when things are not going well, people tell themselves that things are going well. Especially people who believe in God. They tell themselves that God is good. It is the will of God that their daughter got raped and murdered. But here's how you know that they don't believe that. If they found the murderer, they will want him locked up. They will say a lot of evil things to him. And I say him because, it's usually men who do that. People know that there's something wrong, but they don't know what to do. So they're trying their best to be positive. There are a lot of people who say antinatalism is negative. How can we say that life is bad? How can we say that life is not good? Why do we not try to focus on what's good in this world instead of focusing on the negatives? We're focusing on the negatives because all the things that you think are good in this world come from something bad. That's something that you must realize. There isn't anything that is just good. People who want to live like kings must understand that to live like kings, there must be people who are living like slaves. There will never be balance in this world. So everything that you think is good because there is something that is bad that is happening. And as antinatalists, we're trying to expose the bad that is happening. You see? We're trying to make people see that there isn't anything that is just good in this world. For you to have a nice steak, an animal has to die. That's how things work in this world. For you to have an iPhone, there needs to be people who are working like slaves to create that iPhone. I'm not talking about the owners. I'm not talking about the CEOs. I'm talking about The people that we don't even know that have to make sure that everything works. The way things work in this world is so horrible, and we all know it. We all know that the way things work here is horrible. That is why when horrible things happen, we cry. That is why when horrible things happen, it hurts. It hurts because the horrible things that are happening are bad. We just tell ourselves that, well, it's just life. It's how things are. We're telling ourselves that because this world is all that we know. We don't know any other world, so this has to be good. We have to try our best to make sure that this is good. But the truth is, it can never be. It's working the way that it should be working. That's what you must understand. This world is working the way that it should be working. It wasn't designed to work any other way. This is how it should be working. This is how it can work. This is the only way that it can work. So we're trying to hold on to it because it's all that we know. So we can't say that, man, this life is not good. We can't say that people getting killed over nothing is not good. We can't say that people living in poverty is not good. We can't say all of that without accepting that this is how things are. That's the problem. If the world is bad, the world is bad. We mustn't be lying to ourselves. We mustn't be telling ourselves that, the world is bad, but this is how things are. The world is bad, and we must see it as it is. It doesn't really boil down to perspective, because there are people who think that if you try to look at the world positively, you're gonna see positive things happening. If you view it negatively, you're gonna see negative things happening. No. There are people who are just trying to convince themselves that life is good. They know that it isn't good. They know that what they're seeing is not good, but they're trying to convince themselves that what they're seeing is good. You have to understand that a lot of people are fake. There are people who are fake in this world. There are people who are real. I'm real. I'm not suffering worse than a lot of people who are acting like their lives are great. It's not like I'm suffering so much, that is why I'm making these videos. No, I'm making these videos because I'm real. I'm making these videos because I'm interested in truth. I don't want to lie to people. I don't want to lie to myself. And when I see people lying, I feel uncomfortable. That is why I like debating. It's because I want to speak the truth. The reason why there are a lot of bad things that are happening in this world is because the world is bad. It's because things are bad in this world. And we can't make things better. Yes, you can turn your life around. You can do better than a lot of people. That's very possible. If you decided today that you want to make things better for yourself, it's very possible to make things better for yourself. 100%. It is possible to get the things that you want in this world. If you are willing to do what it takes. Some people have to do things that are illegal to get the things that they want. But really, if you are willing to pay the price, then you can achieve what you want. If you are willing to work very hard, you can achieve what you want. If you are willing to do what other people are not willing to do, you can achieve what you want. It's very possible. But that doesn't mean that the world is good. Just because you can be successful if you work very hard, if you do what needs to be done, that does not mean that this world is good. Because there are a lot of things that are happening that are unfair. And these things are happening to people who did not choose to be born here. You see? This is a game that nobody chose. Some people think, what if we chose to be here? No, it's impossible for you to have chosen to be here. Because once you are born, you're a new being. You didn't have any memories of your previous life. You're a new being. If you watch the series Severance, you understand what I mean. You are a new being once you are born here. You are not your old self. You are a new being experiencing life from your own perspective. So to say that you chose to be here, to tell people that are suffering that they chose to be here, no, that isn't good. That isn't true. No one chose to be here. They're here because there were people who did not realize how things really work in this world. They're here because some people didn't think deeply about life, about what it really means to create new conscious beings to come and experience life in this world. If a lot of people ask themselves if it's really a good idea to bring new people into this world, I believe that even if they decided that it was a good idea to bring people into this world, they'll make sure that they do their best to prepare for that life that they are bringing to this world. Because some parents just bring children into their lives even when they're not ready. But if you do ask yourself that, hey man, is it really a good thing for me to be bringing a child into this world? You also ask yourself, can I really take care of a conscious being? Or that conscious being will suffer because I brought them here, because I don't know how to be a good parent, or because I don't have a job, because I don't have money, because I don't have a home. It's very important that we think. If we do things without thinking, we're going to cause a lot of suffering, not just for ourselves, but for people that are innocent. You see, that's a very big problem. No one should be suffering because we are irresponsible. We have to be responsible. It is irresponsible to bring a child into this world if you know that you don't have the money to take care of a child. And your child has to suffer because you brought them into this world. Your child has to suffer because you're not responsible. You have to understand that life is hard. And it's much harder if you don't have resources. You gotta have resources to cope with life. So if you don't have resources to cope with life, it's gonna be much harder. And 9 out of 10 times, when people do not have resources, they do not have resources because they didn't have a good head start. Their parents didn't do well enough, because life is like a relay race. Life is like a relay race. You have to understand that people are competing in this world by default. Whether you like it or not, you are competing with other people. As a man, I'm competing with other men. If I'm not doing well, it means that women ain't gonna love me. So whether I like it or not, I'm competing with other men. As a woman, you're competing with other women. If you're not dressing well, other men might not choose you. Other women might get the men that you want, and you might end up suffering because you don't have the money to buy the clothes that you want. You don't have the money to do the makeup that's gonna make you look good. You might end up getting used by men because you don't have money. So they might end up using you, having sex with you and giving you money. So it's important for people to get a good head start so that they'll have resources that they need in order to live in this world. The reason why a lot of people feel like they don't have a purpose here is because they don't know what to do. It's like, being broke is like being in a prison, because everything requires money. So you can't really do anything. You are in a prison because you can't do the things that you want to do. You see? So this is something that parents must think about before bringing new conscious beings into this world. It's important for people to think, man. We mustn't be suffering because we don't think. Life is hard. Even when people are making the right decisions. So let's not suffer because life is hard and we're not making the right decisions. Doesn't make any sense. Completely backwards. So if we really understood that life is bad, then we'll try our best to minimize suffering. But if we perceive life as a gift, what do you think is going to happen? We're just going to be bringing children into this world because we believe that we're doing the right thing. Even when they're suffering, we'll believe that we're doing the right thing. We're giving them the gift of life. That is the right thing. That is a good thing. And that's where we got it wrong. It is not a good thing. Pain is real. There are a lot of people who are dealing with pain because they were born into this world in families that did not care about them, in families that didn't understand them, and they had to deal with trauma from a very young age, and because of that they never recovered. Some people are traumatized for life. They'll never ever recover because they're traumatized. You have to understand that your upbringing is important. It is important that you are loved, you are well taken care of, you are understood. If your parents don't treat you right when you're young, from the age of 1, you're not being treated right. From the age of 1, you're realizing that this place might be hell. And you get abused until you are an adult. What do you think is going to happen? Even if you succeed in life, even if you do get to have things that you want, you're still not going to feel okay. That's something that you must understand. You still feel like something is not right because of what you experienced when you were young. So it is important that people ask themselves if they are doing well enough to be bringing new people into this world. The reason why a lot of women don't date broke guys is because they don't want to suffer. If children could choose parents, most people who have children wouldn't be having children. If children, before they are born, they were able to choose their parents, most people who have children wouldn't be having children because they wouldn't qualify. Is that there are a lot of people who are parents who don't qualify to be parents. There are a lot of people who are parents who don't have any idea what the heck they're doing. And that is because they do not ask themselves enough questions. Life is not good. We must know that. So if we're going to bring children into this world, we must do our best to make sure that they experience less suffering. They mustn't suffer like crazy, because we will end up being the real devils. Because if you know that things are not going well for you, if you know that you don't have money, if you know that you don't have shelter, and you still bring a child into this world and that life becomes hellish, you are the devil. Because like I said, suffering is real. You chose suffering for your child. You could have decided not to bring them into this world because you knew that they were going to experience a lot of suffering. But nah, you had to bring them here. So shouldn't you be the one to blame? If your child is suffering, if your child has to steal in order to survive, if your child is homeless, if your child had to turn into drugs, ain't you the one to blame? I mean, who's to blame? Think about it. Parents are always the ones to blame. Even if you did everything good, you're still the one to blame. Because you trusted yourself enough to be able to raise your children right. No matter how messed up they are, you trusted yourself that, you know what, I'll be able to make sure that things go well for my children. I'm going to make sure that they're happy. You trusted yourself. So it is your fault. This world is crazy, man. We shouldn't just be bringing children like we don't know what the heck we're doing. You must think. It is crazy that any person can bring a child into this world. The dumbest people can bring a child into this world. That's really, really crazy. I mean, to clone animals, you need to really, really be intelligent. You need to really, really be able to think. But to bring a child, even if you don't know how to count from 1 to 10, you can bring a child into this world. Isn't that crazy? What kind of life do you think that child is going to have? I mean, maybe you have bad genes, and that child is also not going to know how to count from 1 to 10, you see? And it will be all your fault, because it will mean that you didn't think enough about your situation. Or maybe you couldn't. There's another thing. It means that you don't think enough to be able to understand what must be done. It's important for people to really think, man. We are in a crazy world. We are in a world that we don't understand, and a lot of people are suffering. So it's really important for people to think. Thank you all, guys. Thank you for watching until the end. I mean, this is like the longest video that I've ever made. So yeah, thank you for watching until the end.